Now this is a tall drink of water with a silver spoon stuck up his ass. Yeah, so I just saw this movie for the very first time last night, and I gotta say, this was a really good watch. It's a long movie, but it is a good 2 hours out of your time. This movie teaches you things. It teaches you about the human spirit and how powerful it can be. What it is about is the Shawshank Redemption. Andy Dufresne, played by Tim Robbins, is wrongfully convicted of murders he did not commit and is shipped off to the Shawshank prison. And he encounters Red, played by Morgan Freeman. Red is a go-to guy. He can get anything you want inside the prison. And Andy gets tools from him now and then that he finds good use for. But at first, Andy is the new guy. Everybody loves to pick on the new guy. But he eventually wins over the hearts and minds of his fellow inmates with his useful knowledge of banking skills and other skills, so forth. And he's this underdog that learns to adjust to prison life. And Morgan Freeman is somebody who has been in the prison so long that he has basically given up. He tries to, when he's put up for parole, or he has the option to get parole, he tries to get it. But in the long run, he's basically given up. He feels he's a lifer, and he doesn't feel like he's ever going to get out. And he's accepted it so much that the prison has become his home. So he has a thing or two he can teach Andy. But in the long run, Andy has a thing or two he can teach Red, because Andy does not want to give up. He is determined to make the most of it, and he has hope. He wants to feel freedom while within the prison, and he also wants his fellow inmates to feel that freedom, because he thinks without hope you have nothing to live for. And Morgan Freeman feels like he can't depend on hope, because he feels hope is a very dangerous thing in the prison. It doesn't do you any good, and it drives you insane, because it seems like inside those prison walls you can't hope to escape. But Andy doesn't give up on his hope. That is a really good testament to the human spirit. And it comes to a point where he thinks he's found a way out of the prison, Andy Dufresne, because this character comes aboard in the prison who Andy takes him under his wing, because he seems like he's all big and bad because he's been in and out of prison all of his life, but he's not as big and bad as he seems. He's a young kid, and Andy feels like he can teach him a thing or two. And this person reveals that he was cellmates with the person that killed Andy's wife and her lover, the people that Andy Dufresne was wrongfully accused of killing. And he thinks he has a way out, and he's trying to convince this person to testify in court. And the person agrees to do it, but the warden of Shawshank realizes Andy's usefulness and he puts him under his thumb. And when the warden catches wind that his golden goose may have found a way out, he takes whatever steps he can to prevent that from happening, because of a laundering scheme. And then when Andy finds out that the hope of getting out has been pulled from his grasp, the movie makes you think that Andy has given up that hope, just like everybody else has. And he laments to Red of, if he ever gets out, he wants him to go to this spot in Maine and find this box that he's buried. But and this is Andy and Red. They develop this camaraderie over the 20 some odd years together in prison, and Morgan Freeman's character gets worried all of a sudden because he thinks Andy's at the end of his rope, which, in literal terms, Andy Dufresne gets himself a rope from one of the other inmates. And this Morgan Freeman's character is scared to death of this because he can't sleep at night, at the night that he finds out about this. And then after that, the movie throws you for a loop because what you expect to happen doesn't happen. And it's just back to that feeling of hope that Andy Dufresne says that no matter what happens where you are, if you have hope, nobody can take that from you. And that is some really good words to live by. Those are some really good words to live by. And I feel the need. This is my first movie review that I'm attempting to do. And I hope that I can get better at it, because watching some of these other viewers on YouTube, I love watching them and thinking that they started out just like I am right now. I'm sitting in my room with a camera in front of me. And I know I'm not the best right now, but I hope to be one day. Maybe not the best one day, but I hope to be acceptable. I strongly recommend getting this movie because this movie it has strong messages, and it is a good movie regardless of anything. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I give Shawshank an A+.